Welcome, everybody. It's 2 p.m. sharp, so you know what that means. It's time to get started. Welcome to the 2 p.m. Sales Espresso webinar series. Today, we're going to be doing turning tech lacking into tech stacking. I was kind of proud of myself for that one. But in case this is y'all's first time here, that's me. There I am. My name is Skip Wilcox. I'm going to be your host. And if you are not connected with me, it looks like I do have a few first timers on here today. If I'm not connected with you already, please scan that QR code, link with me on LinkedIn, social media, whatever else. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if it's your first time here, understand that here's what we do. All right. Every single week, I take a topic in sales and we discuss it in 15 minutes or less. All right. And the goal here is to get you some actionable takeaways as soon as we end the webinar. Now, today, doing tech liking to tech, or yeah, tech liking tech stacking. All right. What we're going to do today is something a little different. And we're going to talk about how to make do if you and or your company doesn't necessarily have the most cutting edge technology, right? How are you going to survive? Well, this talk is really because I don't have time in the 15 minutes to go over in detail how to use specific programs to their fullest to kind of substitute or fill in for certain softwares. We're going to talk about it in general terms. But after we're done, if you have questions or need more help, reach out to me. Let's talk about that, okay? But first and foremost, and this is what this whole thing really deals with, is a mindset shift. Because I see mortgage folks, realtors, everybody who either don't have specific pieces of software or just don't use them because they don't like them. All right. But we've got to shift our mindset to something where we actually understand what it is that we don't have. Now I have CRM, and you're going to see CRM a lot through this presentation because that's the most commonly lacking piece of software. Is everyone either hates their CRM or doesn't have it. All right. Well, what's the purpose of the CRM to begin with? All right, it's organized follow-up. Try and keep everybody straight and all the touches with everybody straight. Okay, so we got to remember that, and if we can keep that in the forefront, it's really going to help us understand how we can use what we already have in lieu of that. All right. You don't necessarily need the expensive software to stay consistent. Now, I will say this with a caveat. All right. What we're going to cover today and what we can do outside of a formal CRM is not a full substitute for a CRM. If you have the ability and the resources to get a CRM, do it. All right. This is essentially how to rig up something that you can still be productive, but is not going to be a full substitute for a CRM or anything else we talk about. Okay. So I want to put that out there. Be sure that, hey, this is to make do. All right, because I also don't want to have somebody not being as productive as they can be because they don't have it. I want to take one more excuse off the table. Be like, oh well, I dropped the ball on this one. If I had a CRM, I probably wouldn't have done that. Well, that's not going to be a valid excuse. So let's first shift our mindset and then let's dive into it. Okay. So covering the tools that you've already got, right? Oops. Outlook and Gmail, right? We all have Outlook or Gmail as our email or Office suite, right? Yeah, we also have some form of calendar or calendars, you know, the phone. Don't forget about that, right? We've all got our contacts in one or multiple places. We all have the ability to do tasks and or reminders in multiple places. Now, getting all those connected, that's part of this talk, okay? And we have lots of note apps. And I cannot overemphasize enough the things that you can do on your own with some of these note apps. All right. So don't forget, we all have these things, and all these things listed, plus some that I don't even have listed here, can be used to get you through your sales day. All right. Email is a CRM. This is the biggest and easiest one. If I'm ever training somebody or coaching someone that says, Skip, I don't have a CRM, I can't afford to get one of my own, company won't allow me to patch in my email to it, whatever the case is. Okay, I get it. That is a problem, and but that does not mean that we can't do something. So again, we're going to be talking very high level. If you need help actually implementing or doing any of the things that we talk about, reach out to me. I'll be glad to guide you through it. Okay. So, first and foremost, use and create folders and labels for your email, right? However your sales sequence works, be sure you have folders for each and every one of those. Don't have them super general because that's not going to help you and you won't be able to move those customers along. All right. And don't have them too specific because then you're going to be doing nothing but shifting stuff around in your email all day long, right? But use folders and labels for your email. Flag and star emails needing action. If you know that you are going to have to follow up with somebody and or somebody emails you and instead of having your CRM ping you that you've got to respond, just flag the email, guys. Flag the email. That'll say, hey, by the end of the day, I know that I've got to go back and I got to handle all of my flagged emails, right? Little steps like this go a long way. All right, searching is your superpower here. Email search. Now, I understand some of y'all who are on New Outlook, it's not the best search engine. All right. So classic Outlook, a little bit better. You got Gmail. To me personally, that's a tremendously powerful search engine. But we got to make do with what we have, right? But searching is your superpower. Email search essentially works like a database. You can find emails pertaining to a specific time period, topic, name, address, whatever the case is. If, of course, going back to the previous, you've labeled them correctly. So keep that in mind. That search can provide you with a list of things to do for a CRM. All right. Keywords are huge. If you were talking to Joe Smith about a 30-year fixed and you notice that, hey, maybe they need to look at refinancing to a 15-year fixed. I don't know. I'm pulling something out of thin air. Then search for people that were 30 years. Then you can whittle that down and search for 30 years and then ones you closed in the last 12 months, right? You can keep that going. And all of a sudden, you've got a workable list of prospects from your previously closed pipeline, right? So keep in mind that you can search by all kinds of different criteria. And they all do at least an adequate job. Like I said, some of them are better than others. Okay. Use your calendar as a sales engine. Set follow-up meetings instead of remembering to do it, right? This is like 101, right? You got to set up your follow-ups. You got to have those next steps. You can't remember. You can't have it be vague, which I see a lot of people do without the use of a CRM. They just say, "Hey, I just know I got to call John next week sometime." No, go ahead and set up a follow-up meeting. Set up your reminders. You can add both parties. You can set those reminders to ping the other party as well. All right. Recurring reminders for pipeline nurture. All right. You can set these up any number of different ways for, excuse me, for your calendar, for tasks, that kind of thing. You can have things continually pop up and remind you to do them. So that way you don't forget. Task or reminders. This one to me is actually my favorite. So I use tasks way more than I do anything else in Outlook. Create a task for every single commitment that you need. And it also bears mentioning that while in Outlook you cannot necessarily have a task associated with a specific contact, you can have all kinds of notes in the contact information in Outlook, or the task can have a ton of information in there. And so you just move it on down the line. So say you've got it says call John Smith today. All right, well you've done that. Or instead of checking it off and it get erased, just move the date. Say, okay, my next follow-up would be a week from now. Go ahead and move it there. Then it's just going to save. You're going to have it ready. And then in a week, boom, it pops back up again. All right. So keep in mind, you can use those rolling reminders and rolling tasks for every single commitment. And this is really more, I guess, for your contacts. Be sure that you categorize your contacts in either Gmail or Outlook or whatever service you use. And, Outlook has all the different colors. You can do custom names, that kind of thing. That way, if you say, hey, I need to send out this piece of information to all of my previous customers, you can search by that contact type, select them all, send it on out. If you've got a market update for all of your pre-approvals, so say you've got John Smith saved in your Outlook as a pre-approved client, select them all, send them out a market outlook, right? We can do all these things that a CRM or other powerful software does. It just requires a little bit more labor, and so we can still do it. So keep in mind, not an excuse to not be able to do it. All right. So contacts as your database. I'm also a big user of this. Even so, back when I was an originator, really didn't have a whole lot of CRMs available for originators. I kind of learned them after the fact. And when I was in TPO and correspondent, they don't make really B2B CRM, so we had to kind of develop our own system. Me personally, I grew up on Outlook. I liked it, so I used that as well as purchasing my own from time to time. But contacts lets you put all kinds of notes, attachments, emails, everything into a contact. You could literally pull up John Smith and have a log that you've entered in for every single time that you touched or every email that you've sent. If you want to drag it and put it in there, you can see a complete record of all your different touches of that contact. So you definitely want to add detailed notes. You can track the last interaction. If you want to pull up your contact, be like, oh man, when's the last time I talked to Jane Smith, realtor? And you pull it up, you're like, oh damn, I haven't talked to her in 6 months. I really need to reach out to her. Then there you go. Or you can say, oh, I was supposed to send her this and I never did it. Oh man, that's okay. Now you're aware, but it still gives you a log of your steps. All right. So templates for speed, because this is a little bit labor intensive. So how are we gonna do this as fast as possible? All right. For those of y'all who are familiar with Outlook, especially, you have the option to create templates or signatures for specific purposes. So say you have a general email you like to send all your first time appointments. Click the email, click signatures. You'll see it in your drop down, all your options, your drop down box. You pick one that's labeled first time meeting. Boom. It populates that immediately. You change your name, who it's to, send it out. That way you're not having to reinvent the wheel every single time. Say that you want to update your customers on their conditional approval, right? Uh, you can copy and paste the whatever conditions that you want, but you can first select your generic, first condition or conditional approval email, pops up whatever language that you want. Here's your conditions, paste that, send it off, boom. Now you're calling them, going over it on the phone. They have it all in front of them, looks professional. Okay. These are all different things that you can do that save you a lot of time that you use day in and day out repeatedly. But there's literally, I mean, you can think of dozens of different ways to utilize this. All right, using Excel and spreadsheets, we got 2 minutes. So simple spreadsheet pipeline. I'm not really a spreadsheet guy when it comes to this, but a lot of people do see success using a spreadsheet for your pipeline, color coding it, having different pages, that kind of thing. You don't have to be an Excel wizard to do this, but you do have to at least have a basic knowledge of Excel, which if you're willing to invest, if you have no knowledge of Excel, you hate it because it's intimidating, or you just don't like it because you used to use it a lot but you haven't used it in 20 years. Spend 15, 20 minutes watching a YouTube video and you will be like, oh, okay, this is easy. I can do this. All right. Signals and triggers. Obviously, this is a big thing, right? Unread emails, that is an open loop. That means you still have a task that needs to be done, right? Kind of going back to the flagging the emails from earlier. Calendar view has an accountability dashboard. You look at your calendar view, it's going to have all your stuff on there, all your different meetings, appointments, follow-ups, etc. It's going to be a great snapshot of what has to take place today in your business. All right, so don't underestimate the calendar view, whether it's Gmail, Outlook, whatever. Workflow. Check your task, email, pipeline lists. It's whatever workflow works for you. The one thing about using any of these tech substitutes is that it's got to work for you. There's no one size fits all. And of course, a little time management tip here. You should time block for your touches, for your long-term selling. Weekly review, same thing, spreadsheet, next steps. Again, if you're not an Excel person, that's okay. But if you are, you can use Excel pretty effectively. I've seen this a number of times with a lot of success. And of course, we've all got the cell phone, right? Everywhere to go. You can send voice to text. You can send audio messages, for follow-ups, and you'll have that log if you need to. All good things, y'all. Okay. So basically, CRM tools, yeah, you need them, but don't use it as an excuse. Don't use the lack thereof as a crutch to not be successful. And consistency is going to pay you bigger dividends than any type of high tech out there. You will be more productive if you are consistent and organized in whatever fashion helps you out. So if you're continually trying something and you're still struggling with the organization, that means it's not working. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do to get you on the right track and get you more productive. All right, guys, that's it. Oh, look at that. 2:15 on the dot. I love it. All right. Thank you all for coming today. Scan the QR code if I'm not connected with you. Next week is Thanksgiving. As much as I love you guys, I will not be on here for Thanksgiving, and we will see you after that. Thanks.